Happy 312 day. Crooked there. Fix that. Hello. Hopefully this is working. All right. That works. Let's check volume here. Click that off. Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, let me put this down. All right, let me put this down. We got an echo going. There we go. That's better. All right. Hopefully that works. Yeah, it's pretty decent. Oh, hello, Kevin. Oh, hello, Kevin. Okay. Here we are. Had to turn the volume off on the monitor because we're getting about a 3-second delay. Anyway, welcome. So today's just going to be a little working, answering questions, all that good stuff. Way. Do-do-do. Little bit of work. I'm going to turn that down just a little. There we go. Well, that part works. The echo is very strange. Down. Cool. All right. A little more light. Are you streaming from 12 to 3? Daughter's texting me. Hang on just a second. Yes, just started. You can watch if you want. There we go. There we go. All right. Oh, Jesus. Interruptions. Yeah, well, you know. Anyway. There we go. Okay. Now. Hey, Kevin, you're home, right? I thought you said you were going to be home all this week. Oh, wow. That comes through quick. We'll get this. Anyway. Yeah, the joys of a small shop. It is what it is. All right. It's here. Nope. No, actually, I haven't. The reason I haven't is I have a Craftsman router table and way too many routers. 1, 2, 3. I have 4 routers. One's in it. Oh, I picked up, and I know Porter cable routers are not what they used to be, but I picked up a little Porter cable trim router on Amazon for like, I caught it on sale, like $69. I mean, it would give me a little room. That's better. Here we are. Yeah, I should give you a quick tour, as it were. The big one is the radial arm saw. Tryon Little Theater got rid of it. They got this was probably late 2000s. They got a sliding 10-inch miter saw, and they were just throwing this out. So I grabbed it. I added a little dust collection down here, which is kind of weird, but it works. It's not perfect. I've 3D printed these ball valves, which work really well for dust collection. And then I printed my own splitter and got a piece of hose to come up to the base. But I had added this a while back, this little catch. The only problem with it that I'm running into is, whoop, get up there. The only problem I run into is before I put, and the reason I've said I'm going to put the dust collection on, just use it for cutting, just cutting down sock, is when I go to 45 or any degree and then bring it back to 90, it doesn't come back true. I think this is a late 70s model. And in reality, there's been a big recall on radial arm saws and all this stuff, which is kind of interesting. I think it was Emerson that was handling the recall, and I think they would have given me like $50. Well, I really don't have room for like a sliding compound miter saw in here. So, but other fun things I've added, although I think that time you house sat, Kevin, I think you remember that. That is a late 50s 6-inch Craftsman jointer that actually runs really good. I put a new set of blades in it and they're awesome. I've got a Shopbox drill press. I'll set you back here. There we go. That's right. I still had the Shopsmith back then. I sold the Shopsmith for $800 April of 2020. April? Yeah, April. And decided to go down this path. That's when I picked up the Buck Tool sander over there in the back. It's a little hard to see. See if we can get you. Whee! You're getting seasick. I picked up the Porter cable 14-inch bandsaw, and they all are kind of the same You know, they've different. I think Grizzly made one in that form factor. Jet, Shop Fox, and they all basically share the same parts mostly. Um, but I picked that up. God, Eddie Wilson and I went down the other side of Greenville, and I think I picked that up for $250. And I had to put a little bit of work into it because the table was messed up. The trunnions underneath had gotten bent. But that worked out well. And I managed to track down, there's a place in Rock Hill, well, 2 years ago, we're selling parts for that. So I picked up the stock fence and the stock riser block. So I could lift it. I think right now it's running a 76-inch band, and I could lift it and run a 105-inch band, which will give me more depth of cut. So I think I could rip. I think right now I could rip a 6-inch piece roughly, like 5 3/4. And if I, when I get around to putting the riser block in, I'll be able to cut like 12-inch pieces. The throat distance is 14. That's just the way it is. That doesn't change. The big thing I picked up is the rigid oscillating sander. It's got the cylinder, but then it also in the back you change it around and has a belt that oscillates, which is really nice. I caught this on sale. I think it was from a Home Depot in Florida. It was the only one, and they were selling it for $100. These things retail right now for $269. And the Home Depot in Hendersonville still has them. So, and I've added a lot of stuff over here. Let's lift this up a little bit. There we go. I've added a lot of stuff. I 3D printed a lot of hangers for my drills, and then I went into Chris had bought the Ryobi hedge trimmer. Why so many drills? Yeah, well, they're not all drills. This is a heat gun. 20-volt cordless heat gun that I use occasionally, not that often. But pick this up, and then like up around the corner, up in Hendersonville is that place called Blue Ridge Bargains, and they're like an Amazon return. I picked this up for $29. I mean, granted, there was no battery; it was just the tool, but it was brand new in the box. And then because I was already in the Ryobi battery, I picked that up. I am not kidding you, for $9. And it works fine. It does have a stamp on the back. It says Recon. I presume it means reconditioned. But I got into the Porter Cable cordless because I went to, it was a Habitat resale store in Hendersonville. Brad gun, cordless Brad gun, right? I picked this up, 2 chargers and 3 batteries for $25. Then that was around the time that Porter Cable was coming out of, they were taking it out of Lowe's. And then it went, and now Porter Cable cordless 20-volt is sold exclusively through Tractor Supply. So I went ahead and just started picking up stuff. I picked up this is the drill driver and the impact, plus a charger, and it was a charger and 2 batteries for $99. But then I got the little cordless random orbit sander for free. And then I just kept watching and kept hitting things on sale. The little circ saw I picked up for $49. I actually bought the jigsaw. Well, I actually bought this on Amazon. I hit a sale on this for like $39. So, but the big thing is, and it's kind of hard to tell, but these batteries, this is a secondary battery, secondary market on Amazon, new, quote unquote. But it's a 20 volt, but it fits a Black & Decker. And all you have to do is cut a slot and then square these off. And all of the tines are exactly the same as a Porter Cable standard battery. So when you can pick one of these up for like $12 and then do a little bit of work on them, and they fit all my Porter Cable, I wasn't gonna say no. And it just kind of grew. Not that I'm cheap. But I've also managed to pick up a couple. This is Alaska. Again, Amazon knockoff kind of thing, 20 volt lithium ion. It says it's a 6 amp, probably more like a 5. But I managed to pick this up at that resale store. I think I paid $15 for that. You go online, that's a $30 battery. So, and as you can see here, we'll get a little closer here, move it around. You can see I've got a little charging area set up. I did pick up this. This was a little expensive. It's one of these finger sanders. Yes, I have verified the protection circuits in all these batteries. They do work. They're exactly the same. The pins are exactly the same. That took a lot of YouTube research and then going to different websites and finding the breakdown, finding what the schematics were for the different tools and then what pins were the batteries, which is awesome. I know Amazon sells these like conversions, like you can run a DeWalt battery on a Makita tool, but most of them do not wire correctly for the protection circuits. And I know I see it all the time online and whatnot, people, going, I drained the battery down and now it won't charge. Well, yeah, it did have a protection circuit in it. It ran it too low and now the charger won't work. So, but yeah, I picked this up, and this is an Ingersoll Rand, 2 batteries, charger, and a tool for $115. This stupid thing online, I am not kidding you, is $400. So yeah, Blue Ridge Bargains up there, that Amazon resale store, has been really nice to me. So, and odds and ends, things I picked up. I mean, like, it's your normal square sander, right? Little Theater threw it out. Well, I think they threw it out. It was in the garbage one day on stage at the art center. I put a new switch in it and it works. And I have a good mix of corded and cordless tools. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Yeah, the other one was this one, the skill jigsaw. And again, this is probably mid 2000s. They were like, oh, it stopped working, throw it out. Another one where all I did was replace the switch. And it's served me since the mid 2000s, so can't argue there. And as you can see, I've done a lot of 3D printing for holding the different chargers that don't mount directly to the wall. The Ryobi ones do mount. This is I have some DeWalt 12 volt that I've had for years and years, and I couldn't find a way to mount the charger. It doesn't have anything on the back. So I actually just got into, was it Tinkercad, and just designed my own little holder that it slides in and out. So, and I have all my chargers plugged up here. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, up there to a power strip that then goes down to an auto and one of those smart plugs. So I can tell my, well, I call it Echo, but I can tell my Alexa, turn on the chargers, and they'll all come on. And then I can say, Alexa, turn off the chargers in 5 hours. And I know they get turned off, which is really good because you shouldn't leave. I mean, Kevin, and I'm sure other guys out there's a couple people watching. I'm sure you guys know that you shouldn't leave your batteries uncharged indefinitely. I recently picked up a few tools from, I'll say somewhere, because I know they had been sitting in the garage probably 7 or 8 years unused, and they had been through some freezing and thawing cycles. They had been through real cold, real warm kind of thing, and brought them home. And one of the batteries seems to work okay. One of the batteries, it's actually another set of the 12 volt. My 12 volt driver after 15 years died, and I didn't misuse it, but the joke. Any machine's a smoke machine if you use it wrong. I was using it right, and it still became a smoke machine. It was rather terrifying to be drilling something and just like smoke out of everywhere. So it was kind of weird. But yeah, I've done a little bit. I've done a little, some changes, a little more organization. Um, I designed my own tool holders and played around with labeling, that kind of thing. I recently, here we go, tip you down a little. My workbench, I recently added a piece of masonite, which is funny because I want to paint it black. Because that's what I'm used to with masonite. Put masonite on the floor, paint it black. But this bench was actually my great uncle's, and he probably built this in the late 70s. And then, of course, he passed. He passed on. Mom and I moved down here. Black masonite works wonders. Yeah, even to that. But he had made this, and the top was, I can't even say, it was like finer material than OSB, but it was still like chipboard kind of. And it was finally, after 40 years, it was starting to flake apart, and it was becoming kind of annoying. It was like every time I did something on the workbench, I'd get splinters. So I just took the time, dropped it. I played around with the back. I took everything off this. The shelf is attached, so I had to kind of jack it up and slide the masonite under, and that kind of thing. And then I banded it with some 1x just to make it look pretty. I didn't even miter the edges. I just butted them and then ran a chamfer just to get rid of the edge, as it were. Now you can see my computer monitors here, and it swings. You can swing it anywhere on the bench here, but because of the way it's mounted, I had to put 2 pieces of 1x in here just to give it some structure because it kept flexing. So, but yeah, I know a lot of people, kind of like, oh, you really shouldn't have electronics in your workshop and this and this and this. And I mean, I have a little Mac Mini up top, and Kevin, you'll appreciate this. Here we go. 355 31 band EQ with a QSC PLX 3002 amp into realistic. What are these? They're They're from the late 70s, early 80s. They're called Mach 1s. It's a three-way speaker with a 15-inch sub, a three-quarter bullet, and a 2-inch horn. And yeah, you can paint. Well, on my iPhone, I think I was at 137 dB. So it was a little loud, but you know, but I do have hearing protection, and this is one of these 3M that Bluetooths into the computer, but then I can also hear outside, and it kind of noise canceling. It dampens down when I'm running saws and things like that. So, you know, but not a lot is. Things have been moved around, and I've added some tools. Got rid of the Shopsmith, and that really helped because the ceilings down here were so low. I had a hard time tipping it up to become a drill press, and that was my main thing. Was like, I want to get rid of this. And I had kind of decided in December of 2019 that's why I picked up the bandsaw. I think we picked up that bandsaw, the Porter Cable bandsaw, in like January of 2020. And I had kind of already decided I was getting rid of the Shopsmith. And then the world got crazy, and then I didn't know what to do. And I went, all right, I'm going to at least list it on Facebook, see if anybody bites. I listed it for 800. I think it was less than 5 hours. Somebody bought it, and out it went. And then because of the shutdown, because of Alex's condition with the leukemia at the time, even though treatments were done and she was better, I still had to watch. You know, she basically was still immunocompromised, as it were. So they sent me home for 7 weeks, which was kind of cool. So that's when it was like, okay, we're gonna buy the buck tool, we're gonna buy the shop box, we're gonna update some things and so on and so forth. And so then it was like, okay, Shopsmith out, let's get this done. And then I started building rolling cabinets. Pretty much everything in here, yeah, except for the workbench, everything's on casters, everything rolls. Table saw, bandsaw, my planer, and then of course, I built a cabinet for the planer. I built a cabinet for the radio arm, and believe it or not, it rolls. You can see down there, one each, and everything there, the joiner, the router table, the drill press, all of it rolls. I did kind of slap that together in a hurry. I didn't necessarily want a cabinet, but I wanted a place where I could put the compressor and the sander at the same time. And it's, again, on casters. I can wheel it out, do what I need to do. And that's talk about overkill. Yeah, well, it I'm in for a penny, in for a pound, man. I'm in it. This is what's going to happen, and we're going to make this work somehow. And I do have the option. I I do have the option to, I can go get a part-time job somewhere. I can go, Home Depot, Home Depot, Lowe's. I've done a little bit of consulting work for the college, for the Foundation Performing Arts Center. Um, I've heard that they may want to bring in a part-timer, but part-timer means 30 hours a week, and I don't know what they'd pay me. Well, and it's a state job, and I can say it because it's a state job, and I mean, you can go online and find out how much I was making before I left. I mean, it's all listed. You can find out how much the president of the college makes and all the employees. It's there. A little digging, but it's public. My thing is if they would be willing to pay me the 23, $24 an hour I was making to work part-time, that would be one thing. But because I only have an associate's degree, a 2-year degree, they scale their part-timers depending upon their degrees. So I would only be making like $15.56. And if it was once in a while, you know, kind of a go over and work a show and come back, and that's fine. I walk away from it. That'd be great. But to work that on a 30-hour week or even like a 25-hour week, you know, going over there 3 days a week or something, or 4 days a week, something like that, that would be a little much. That would be a little much. You know, I'm sorry, gas prices are up. You know, I'm my time in the shop is worth more. I mean, I did a consulting job for them last month and was told that I should charge them. I was there for 4 hours and I charged them $75 an hour because that's what my time is worth. I still haven't seen the check, but I do know their business office runs really slow. So, but yeah, I mean, we're in it, penny. We're in it. You know, we're in it. In for a penny, in for a pound, man. We'll figure this out. I wish I had a bigger shop. I wish I had more space because it's hard to batch things in the shop. It's kind of complicated, but you know, it'd be like Chris and I are my wife. For those of you who may not be part of this conversation with Kevin, because there's only three of us, and I'm one, and Kevin's the other. So I don't know who else the other person is. If you could comment in the post, that'd be, or in the chat, that'd be great. Love to know where you're from. Might be Alex. Who knows? Anyway, but we decided to go. I won't say whole hog, but we're definitely going to make a point of a garden this year. You know, some tomato plants, some pepper plants, definitely some lettuce, lots of herbs. Um, so I want to make some planters. You know, I want to. Fact is, that's, you know, that's part of today's work, is taking these cedar fence pickets and turning them into a planter. I've got liners that I picked up on Amazon. They're 14 by 14 by 14. So the planter's got to be big enough they can just slide inside, which will be fine. Um, yeah, granted that's a little small for lettuce, but for herbs and things like that, that'll be fine. We're gonna look at doing possibly some raised beds and things like that. Um, but we want to go into that, and it's like, yeah, I need to make. I could easily make like 7 or 8 of those. I can't make 7 or 8 of those all at the same time in the shop because I don't have the room to store stuff. And I've been cleaning stuff. You know, I've been getting rid of things. Um, you know, let's face it, we've burned a decent amount of scrap wood in the fireplace this year, plus the normal firewood. So, but yeah, that's all that's going on here. And if you might have seen my 3D printed video, you know, yeah, I've done some 3D printing here, but I've, you know, a little bit here, a little bit there. The big one is the ball valves on the dust collection. Turn that around. There you go. I've got that set up. I printed the ball valve. That actually was a file on Thingiverse. And then I designed my own little adapter because the Buck Tool sander has two. It has a dust collection for the belt, dust collection for the wheel. I don't use the wheel that much, and this is kind of my rough sander. You know, you can tell I had to sand something with paint on it. Okay, I'll use this. I won't use the good stuff, as it were. Oh, other thing that I really want to spread the word. What's up? Just me driving to next appointment. Oh, hi, Chris. Chris is watching. Yay! It's a family affair. Happy 312. But anyway, one of the things that's really cool is picking up these projector stands at Blue Ridge Bargains on the cheap, and then adding pieces for outfeed rollers, which I have another one to make. I'm going to make a second one in here because sometimes the bigger boards coming off this can be a little hard. But yeah, thought that was an LED strip light for a second. Yeah, no, it's outfeed and that. Yeah, LED strip light. Yeah, I don't have the room for that in here. Although I have, believe it or not, I've 3D printed some C-clamps, and they actually work. I mean, you're not going to use them to take the bow out of a piece of wood, but gluing two pieces together, you know, for a quick glue up and small pieces, they're wonderful. And the files I got off, I think I got these off of Maker World, which is the Bamboo Lab version of Thingiverse and all that. But this is like the second smallest one. That's the smallest one. No, camera's over here. Okay, yeah, that's the smallest one. That's the next size up. And then they make one they go up three more sizes. And I think the largest one has a 12-inch throat. But again, they're not really, I don't know if I would try to use them for glue ups, but when you have to clamp something down real quick, they're real handy. So, and believe it or not, I found a good file for spring clamps. And there's only about 70 cents in filament in this. And that's, I got fancy. I changed the color so I could get the little clamper pieces just to make it look cute or cool, as it were. But yeah, I've added a number of things since you were here last, Kevin. I've added 2 of these boxes. They're 20 by 20. They're about 5 inches in depth. I use these clamps here, clamp the filter up. I have another one over there. And then that is I have a 350 CFM inline fan in that. And it's funny, I originally had a fan from somebody called me up and wanted to know if I wanted extra fans. Hi, Mom. Happy birthday. Thank you. Happy 312 day. But was it up in Morganton, City of Morganton Municipal Auditorium, Tony Bova up there. They long ago switched to ETC dimming. I still had the strand stuff at the foundation, and he wanted to know if I wanted some extra stuff. He sent me, one or two extra dimmer modules, no problem. He must have sent me almost a dozen cooling fans, which were great. I think they're 300 CFM each, but they're noisy as hell, because they're in a dimmer room. Nobody notices them. And I had that there for a while. Well, it got to a point where I couldn't have the air filtration on when I was recording because it was so loud. Echo, air filter on. And this slowly comes up to speed. There we go. And I've got a little variable potentiometer on the back that comes with the fan. So, it's a little noisy. I put a lot of, again, another Blue Ridge bargain purchase. Some of this noise reduction stuff, which is cool. But you might not really be able to hear it that loud, and that's running half throttle. And of course, as you saw, it's on a smart timer, so I can work in the shop, and it's dusty and all that stuff, mostly in the wintertime. And then I can tell my Alexa, turn off the air filter in an hour, that kind of thing, and it will turn them off. And that timing is just, I've only seen one video on that kind of automation in the shop, and I'm kind of, I almost think I need to make a quick video about that because it's important. Now, I've also got, and I don't think I had this when you house sat. That's a 1500 CFM furnace fan. 1500? Yeah, I think it's 1500. It's a 1/4 horsepower motor on it. And I have it on the smart plug. Echo, air filter off. There we go. Echo, window fan on. You can see it's a little. Yeah, so, it works. It's nice. It's a little on the noisy side, but the flip side to it is I can pull air. I mean, I'm pulling air through the house. So dust is definitely going out the window. In the midsummer, I do try to put an air conditioner in that window, and I lose that fan for a little while. But we're going to try some different things. This will be because even last summer, there was a point where it was just too hot to work in the shop because there's no air conditioning down here and all this stuff. So we're going to play around with that. Of course, I've got the ceiling fan, and that helps, but it's like right over your head. So, but anyway, I have found that I have to be over here. Whoops. To read the chat. It comes up on my phone, but then it fades away and I lose it. Mom's there. Yeah, which one of those things turns the air conditioning on every time we lose power? Good point. Yeah, losing power after the hurricane was a little rough. It got warm in here. And it wasn't terrible, but it was enough. The first couple days it was close to 80 in the house. But then it got better. But yeah, that's a quick shop tour, as it were. Um, it's what it is. So it's small, but it works, and hopefully we can kind of make this work. I mean, that's like I said, I've got other options, but we'll make sure that I invest the time in this before I do other things. So, but anyway, that's kind of where we're at. But there's 4 people, so it's probably mom, Chris, me, because I'm watching my own stream because I needed the chat. And I found if you close the window, the chat goes away, which is real exciting. Um, bum, 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 bum. Yeah, so Alex is probably turned off at this point. Anyway, echo, window fan off. And yes, I do have the lights on in here on a smart plug. Echo, lights off. Okay. See? Kind of cool. Echo, lights on. Okay. And it's funny because I've been doing this for like, oh God, 2 years, maybe a little longer. And I think it was about 6 weeks ago, I finally saw a video about adding automation in the shop. And it's like, what? Really? I mean, come on, guys. All right. So we'll put that up there. Yeah, this is kind of different, interesting, as it were. I'm it's I, I'm glad I only have a few people watching because it would be I can see where this is tiring. I can see why some creators talk about it being stressful. It is interesting. You've got to think about various things. I mean, I know that projects in here take me a little longer because the ones I videotape because I'm videotaping. I'm moving things around. I tried some things with you can see it here. Boop, boop, action cameras, and it kind of works, but not really. I could never make it so. I wanted to make it so that it would record. I have 3 action cameras in here. I wanted to make it so it would record all of the feeds, and then I could edit it. And I was trying to do it software based, but I kept overheating my computer, and I think it's a 2018 iMac Mini or Mac Mini, um, and it just doesn't quite have the oomph. I mean, it worked. I did an experimental stream back in like November or something, and it had issues. So that's why I was like, let's try simple. One camera, my actually Alex's old phone, and I thought, well, we'll try that. We'll see how that works, and we'll go from there. So, but anyway, So I'll keep an eye on the feed, and I'm going to try to get a little bit of work done, sort of, to a point. So I'll be drifting in and out, but if you got any questions, I mean, quick shop tour, you can kind of turn around and look at everything. It's not that complicated. But yeah, I'm trying to think, Kevin, if you're still here, had I done my hardware wall when you house set back? I don't think I did this. I think I did this during the pandemic. Um, yeah, that's really helpful. Oh yeah, and other things, dust collection for the thing. Address the issue of safety in the shop. No, you weren't. The shop looks way different. Yeah, yeah. I've really gotten address the issue of shop safety. I am in no way Norm Abrams, Mom. But no, we've definitely added a lot of stuff and kind of moved things around. I've got a little bit of wood storage here, of course, some odds and ends. But here are all my antique planes that one day soon I want to experiment with them and see what they can do, because they're all pretty sharp, and this one still has its sticker on it, but they're all pretty much ready to go. Yeah, the irons are in them, and the irons are very sharp, so I think I could use them, at least some of them anyway. And I do have various sharpening stones that I could sharpen them if I had to. But that's more of a hand sharpening type situation. Whoop, 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 whoop. Here we go. But anyway, whoops. I turned it too much. But there we go. That's a quick one. And I'm just going to kind of be here working, looking at the chat occasionally if other people pop on. I didn't know who would pop on. Um, I guess technically this is my first real formal live stream. And I'm sure live stream in the middle of the day is kind of weird. I'm sure people can't really pop on like they want. If I'm sure if I did it at night, there would be other people. I mean, people got to work. So anyway, so I'm gonna kind of keep going, but I'll keep an eye on the chat. You got any questions, or if you need to move on, I understand. So, but I appreciate you popping in. All right. Yeah, and I do a lot of measuring with these were actually made by Woodsmith. I got these years. Mom gave these to me years ago. But I actually do a lot of measuring with these instead of an actual tape measure, just because it's quicker. So, all right, let's see now here. 5.5. 5.5. Good. Okay. Okay. I got to remember how many I can get out of what I need, because contrary to popular belief, I do have a plan. All right. So I need 6 pieces, 5, 14.5, 6 pieces, 5 by 15 3/4. So I've got to rip a couple boards down to 5-inch. So what am I going to get out of this? 15 and 15 and 15, 50, 30, 60. Yeah, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Good. All right. So if I rip 3 boards, I can get all my sides out of them. What are you making? Or did I miss it? I'm making another cedar planter. I've got to make several of them, and I just thought, well, that'll be a good thing for the live stream. Just kind of have it up, be working, doing my thing. All right. It's up. There we go. What's this? Echo. Air filter on. There we go. It might get a little noisy in here. I have I have my air filters up top, but then I've also picked these up at a garage sale, I believe. Small one here and a large one over there. Just to kind of help keep things clean. In the summertime, when the weather gets better, it's a little easier because I can just have the window fan on and pull everything out. Yep, good. There we go. That'll help. And I always make sure my setups are going to work. All right. There we go. 3, somebody bailed. Do I have a cyclone? Oh, I have. Don't mean to make you seasick. Yeah, there you go. I've got what's called a dust deputy on a, well, it's actually a 6-gallon or 7-gallon bucket, but it's the same diameter as a 5-gallon bucket. And then I hook that to a shop vac. I actually have a second shop vac over there. But, and I have thought about playing around with hooking them both up to the same, to get more pressure. Yeah, I actually like them. I do have a 10-gallon bucket, but I've got to take a 5-gallon bucket and cut the top off of it and then create a plywood ring that'll fit on it just for volume. I have to empty, I start working here. I have to empty that a lot. Back as I planed down some oak boards to make something that is it's one of those funny lamps you see on Pinterest. And I'm part of the way through that. I haven't finished it yet, but cutting and planing those boards, I had to empty that thing 3 times. I mean, it works real well, but yeah, if I could, I mean, I'm 11.3 or 11.6 by 12.3 with like 6'7" ceilings. If I had a 20 by 20 shop, I don't think I'd know what to do with it, but yeah, I mean, it's it's funny. It really is, because it's yeah, I think I could do a lot more with a 20 by 20. I would love a 20 by 30 or some close variable to that, because I really would like to get a CNC machine, because you can do a lot with a CNC machine. I've got a design from years and years ago, a wooden nativity scene, and I have never seen it out. Looking around people's houses, whatever, I've never seen it out, and it's one of those things. I think if I could do, because I did probably a dozen of them on a scroll saw, and it works. But with a CNC machine, you just lay down your boards, you map it all out in the computer, you press go, and you walk away from it. Yeah, provided you have the rest of it set up. But yeah, I'd love to get into that. So, Echo, ceiling fan on. Gotta love automation. I just wish I could make it talk like Jarvis from the Iron Man movies. All right, let's rip a couple boards. Hearing protection, definitely the way to go. And don't forget these safety glasses. Echo, dust collection on. Echo, dust collection off. We The nice part about the ball valve uh, gates that are on my dust collection is I printed the ball valve itself in orange, but the little flip switch is in black, so I can quickly look at them and see which ones are on. If it's pointing in line, it's on. If it's across it, it's off. So I can quickly look and say, okay, this is the one that's on. Dust collection in here is not perfect. It never has been perfect, but this is better than it was. Oh, I've also got a little a little adapter in here to assist with dust collection. I found that online, and I found those. I printed them. They are little drawers. You can't really see, but yeah, see, I've got one on this side and one on the other side, and about 30 cents in plastic, nice and cheap. Yeah, if I will be honest, my dream is If money was no object, if money was no object, I would buy either a top of the line Harvey cabinet saw, or I would buy a SawStop, because, and I'm sure you've seen it, Mom. If you're still watching, I think I showed it to you once, where if it's running and your finger touches that blade, it pulls the blade down and slams a piece of aluminum into it. You ruin the blade, but you keep your fingers. I mean, that people have done it where they have had it running and purposely touched it as a demo, and it barely leaves a nick on their skin. I'd love to do that, but number one, I'd have to buy it. I'd want it big enough that it would be a cabinet saw. It'd be like a 5 horsepower cabinet saw. It would run on 220 instead of 110. And granted, I've braced the floor under here, but I think I'm pushing the limits with the amount of stuff underneath. With the amount of weight I have in here. I have a 4x4 and 2 post jacks underneath this to support it. There's no bounce in this floor at all, which is great. But bringing in a cabinet saw that weighs 3 or 4 times what this weighs might be a little much. And size, because I mean, if I'm gonna spend $7,000-8,000 on a Harvey cabinet saw, or $6,000-6,500 on a SawStop, I'm tricking it out. 54-inch width kind of thing, maybe even the actual sliding table. Because at that point, then it's like, okay, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna start making stuff, and we're not gonna just do YouTube. We're going to really go. I'll get a stall. I'll start putting things out for sale, furniture. Believe it or not, these fence picket planners, they are all over Facebook Marketplace right now. And the one I'm putting together is a little different, but it's probably in the $60 to $70 range. Now, granted, if I wasn't doing it live, I could probably knock it out in 2 hours. That isn't bad. By the time you put all that together with the liner and sell it for, let's say, 80, yeah, I'm making 35 an hour. That isn't bad. Oh, geez. Text message, AT&T limited. Oh, Jesus. No, I don't want to update my AT&T phone right now. Nope. All right, so those are ripped. Now, 20 is 40. Now I've got to rip the leg pieces and see what I can get out of this. My leg pieces are going to be 20. So I can get roughly 3 each. So I will rip another piece, ripping the edge off, and then I'm going to rip 2 sections at 2 inches, and then I'll do another one and rip 2 at 1 3/8, and that way I can put the body together. Beep, 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 beep. Good. Now. Hopefully that wasn't too loud for you guys. I have noticed I did some experimenting. There we are. I did some experimenting with a live feed a couple days ago, just to make sure this would all work. And I did notice that when I ran equipment, it tended to dampen the sound, but it didn't really squash it, which is unfortunate. All right, so I have got that's of the four legs. That's one side, and then this will be the other. I noticed when I cut one of these, it just twisted. So that's why I ripped another one just to make sure. Yep, that one. Twisted crazy, but we can make it work. All right, come here, you. Echo, window fan on. Sometimes the window fan doesn't respond. Echo, window fan on. Okay, so I'm going to need to do that. Hang on, I got to rip a couple more pieces, and then I think I can put away the saw completely. Kevin, you made the comment you have the same saw, but you weren't thrilled with it. Not accurate enough or not enough horsepower? I'm just curious. It's a problem. You've always got to walk around things. Ah. Eh. Echo. Window fan on. When in doubt, turn it on that way. All right. Works fine. Dust collection isn't great. Oh, zero clearance inserts can be picked up on Amazon or Etsy. And honestly, these are so complicated to make. I would advise picking them up that way. They make, I think it's a 3-pack for $45, and I think they've already got the hole cut for the riving knife. At least the ones I've seen. But they don't have it for the, or I think one of them has it, so you can just plunge and get your straight cut, and then you could do another one. In other words, you can get like a 90, a 45, and like maybe like a 30 if you needed, or a 60. In other words, you got one that's variable. But yeah, they're there, and they're not that expensive. I mean, relatively speaking. But like for my I had a Craftsman that I bought in 1990 that the motor finally died. God, right before, I don't know if it was right before COVID, but it was close. But anyway, buying a new motor was half the price. Well, I picked this one up on sale for $419 and change. $419 might have even been a little less, because I know buying a motor was little more than half the cost. Good to see after Marcus caught up. There weren't any when I looked years ago. Yeah, they're on Etsy, they're on Amazon, and they're worth it. They really are. Do you have all your woodworking stuff here in Polk County, or is it still at the other house? Oh, hi, Dr. Lauren. It's all here. Yeah, okay, it's worth it. It's worth it to look into the zero clearance. Now, I will tell you this. I'm going to show you this. Or did I throw it out? I threw it out. I threw it out. Unfortunately, I 3D printed a zero clearance insert for this. But what I don't like about it is if there's any blade wobble, you could hear it hit the sides. And honestly, 3D printing, that was actually in my 3D printing video. I even mentioned the fact that 3D printing for the shop is great. Just don't get it near fast spinning objects. Having the time is the hard part. Yeah. Well, you're the one that went to Australia, and I presume you're going back out on the road soon again anyway. Yeah, but you got hardware from the CMA. So the hardware could open up some more doors for you. That would be cool. I was never in a position to get hardware. But yeah, I mean it is an investment. I'm waiting just a little bit, but I'm going to go ahead and get them. Actually, if I get the 300 for my Isothermal, I am going to spend 51 and change with tax on 3 zero clearance inserts for this. Because like I said, I printed one in plastic I have had accessories. I had 3D printed some feather boards, and granted they work. They slide in. You know, they lock down good. They're a little awkward to get in. There we go. I designed my. I didn't like the miter slot inserts that were out there, so I designed my own, and the tolerances are really close. And the reason being is I had a miter slot insert. I had printed a bigger one like this and was over, and it slid and then it twisted, and when it hit the blade it exploded. And that's the downside of printing. Well, even the push stick that comes with this, even though it's an injected molded plastic, I've seen online, I've seen them shatter. So that's kind of my thought is don't get it near like router bits, or saw, these, or your joiner, anything, radial arm saw, anything with a fast spinning blade, drill press, bandsaw, not that big of a deal. But from a safety standpoint, you just don't want shards of plastic flying, and they are sharp. So yeah, time's the hard part. I understand that completely. All right, so these are my legs. This is, well, those are decent. Just trying to find a decently straight one. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. Put it back here. But you see the tolerance. I mean, I can move the saw with this. That's why I designed my own miter slot guides, so it's really tight. All right, here we go. That looks good. All right, a little more ripping, and then we'll be done with that. One and three quarters, so I need one, and then I need a bunch of 1 1/8, and I can just rip out of this. Okay. Ah, lost my hearing protection. Echo, dust collection on. Really? Huh. Those are the twos. I got my boards mixed up. That's the bottom. Yep. Oh. Yes, Mom, and I still have the kind of cross stitch hanging up here. Measure twice, cut once. Ah, okay. Excuse me, I'm about to turn the compressor on. Uh-oh. There we are. On my end, the stream stopped, but that's because I set something on the mouse. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I know that's noisy. Huh. Uh-oh. Kindling. And now, let's get this back up. Just a little cleanup, guys. I make it a mess. And now to hang it all back up. Ow. Splinter. Here we go. I should move this over here. This is one of these little shop projects I threw together and didn't make a video because I knocked it together in about 20 minutes. I had two different size hoses and made a ring adapter to fit them together. There we go. And now I turn that one off and turn the one on the radial arm saw. There we go. Sorry, I know I moved a little fast for some of you guys. That thought has crossed my mind to make the shop quieter so I can keep dust collection working, as it were, you know, put it outside. I'm kind of two minds of it. I've got a 4-inch dust collector I picked up at ironically, Tryon Arts and Crafts garage sale. 4-inch with a bag. And I know I could have played around with that and I had it outside for a while, and I actually routed it through the window. And it worked fine, but the problem was I didn't seal it up against the house, and rain would hit it and come down behind it. And the box that it was in was made with interior plywood, even though I painted it like 3 or 4 coats, and it started to come apart. But then, because I was trapping moisture against the house, the boards started to decay a little. So I quickly yanked it off and just let it go. You know, this gets me by for what I'm doing. It's not It's not perfect, and it does, take up a little floor space. The window fan, I actually want to put that in a box and hang it off the back of the house here and have it come up to the window. I just have to figure out a way to do that and still be able to use the air conditioner occasionally. I haven't really put that together in my head yet of how that would work. But I'll come up with something. I really didn't want to drill a hole through the house, through the wall. If I can get it to go out the window, I'm happy because I can yank the screen out. All right. So I need 6 pieces, 15 and 3/4. Yeah, 15 and 3/4. And then I need 6 pieces, 14 and a half. That works. Good. Whoop. See what I mean? You got to move everything around in here. Or maybe it's just that I have the clamps in a bad place. Oh, damn it, that's tense. That's what I wanted. Yeah, that's what I figured. Uh, and it would be nice to have even with the radial arm, it would be nice, to have a nice extension table with a stop block built into the fence, all that good stuff. But this serves my needs, and the thing that worries me more than anything else is moving. Let's say I did find like a 20 by 30 building and decided to move all this out of here. It'd take me 3 or 4 months to set everything back up. And I really don't have that kind of time. Well, that, and I'd be calling in favors from you, Kevin, and probably from Eddie and from Nathan and other people to help me move all this stuff out of here. Because like everything, for the most part, everything's got to come apart to get out of this shop. Which, has its moments, of course, and would be, it's one of those things. You go through the pain to get something better, and you just go, okay, for 2 months, I'm just going to have to deal with the pain. Happy to help if you're ever in that position. I'll let you know, if you're home. I know what I need now. Outfeed rollers. This will help. And the good part about it is these are pretty readily adjustable for different tools. Here we go. That works. So then I've got kind of an outfeed table. Oh, Kevin, I will say this. One thing that I want to add to the table saw is one of those. It is a magnetic switch with a big paddle. The shut off on that, I think you might have seen. I tried to knee it, and it didn't work. DMX. We could try. Yeah, DMX relays. That could work. Wow. Yeah, a small 24 rack of relay packs. Yeah, it get kind of expensive if you want to run some 220 through it, though. DMX packs, holy crap! But yeah, this is something I want to add to mine. I actually have this one for my router table because I like the paddles and I like the magnetic switches. You know, knock wood, I have not blown a fuse in the workshop in probably 6 or 7 years. I've been able to wire things around and space them and kind of balance the load. But yeah, magnetic switches are nice. If you blow it, you turn the breaker back on, it doesn't come back, the tool won't come back on. I have one on the joiner and it really helps because I can be working and just give it a knee and it snaps it right off. So definitely more of those. It's funny, there's a magnetic switch on the bandsaw, but it doesn't have a paddle. You've got to actually hit it and it's kind of recessed, so it's kind of in a weird place. But yeah, I'm sold on that from a safety standpoint, especially if you lose power for some reason and you're like, oh, got to get the power back on, and you forget to turn the tool off. But yeah, you can add those. I mean, this one actually has a male and female. So I could, instead of playing around trying to rewire my drill press, not that I would really add one to a drill press, but that might be handy. I could plug the drill press into this and then plug this into the wall and just leave the switch on and turn it on and off here. And, from a safety standpoint, I saw one guy online. He's like, pretty much all of your shop is out for blood. Yours. And he's right, So anyway, I'll get to cutting. Oop. DMX. I love that. Da, da, da. Let a little bit of air into the shop. Oh, Kevin, you might find this funny. I mean, because Triangle Little Theater, and I hate to say this on a YouTube video, but it is kind of funny. Like I said, early to mid 2000s, they got rid of this radio alarm saw. The last time I was in their workshop area, which is probably 2 years ago, they had a Delta radio alarm saw sitting new on a pallet. And I'm like, everything old is new again. And I'm not even 100% sure that they're using it. And it's a 12-inch radial arm saw. Okay. Next piece is 14 and a half. There we go. Yeah. Hang on just a second. I forgot to square the end on this one, and they come with little staples. There we go. Good. Boom. Boom. Now. I actually made a video about doing a fence picket planter. But since I need so many of them, I just thought it'd be cool to make another one. Yes. Well, sort of. The legs are integral in holding it together, and they stick about 4 inches down. So the planter will be about 4 inches up off the ground, as it were. Oh, whoops, can't do it with that. It's only 18. I need 20. All right, so I got to trim the ends. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Now we'll knock these out, and then it'll be a little quieter while I do some pre-assembly. There we go. Excuse me while I look at this. Okay, good. Little cheap microphones that fit in the iPhone. I kind of wish I could show you the rig. I'm using Alex's iPhone 10 with the microphone receiver plugged in with a jumper cable, USB-C to USB duckbill, as it were, or whatever, USB-A, around that to a power brick so I can keep the phone charged while I'm talking. There we go. Okay. Now I cut more legs than I need because I want to pick the boards, and if I don't, then I've already got boards cut for the next one I have to make. Okay. Glue Caddy. Yep, it's a 3D print. And I bought this piece and this piece on Amazon. There we go. Glue roller. And I know it seems kind of silly to have a caddy to carry my glue from there to here, but sometimes it helps. All right, I need a framing square. Sorry while I work behind you. And everything falls down. Here we go. Oops. Ah. All right, now. These are for the bottom. Hang on, be right back. That's what I need right there. Ah. A little bit of water. Let's get this out the way. Yeah, it's kind of hard. I don't really have a good place to, not silly. I don't really have a place to put scraps, so they just kind of get put in a place and they always seem to be in the way. There we go. All right. 1-inch galvanized. I just happen to have galvanized. And I just happen to have galvanized in the gun. That's cool. Yeah, mine are so old you have to add oil to them. Although I recently was talking to a guy who, even though he has the modern ones, he still adds a couple drops of oil just to keep everything good, even though they say they don't need oil. Good. Think about 2.5 hours. You know, which isn't a lot, but it's a lot. Ooh, there are 5 people watching. Okay, I know Kevin's here. I know Lauren was here. Let me know where everybody's from. There's a couple different people watching now. This is cool. Yeah, I think you can see. Yeah, kind of weird. That kind of works. Okay. Take 3 boards. Here we go. Oh, a minute. Beep, beep, beep. Here we go. That'll work. Uh-oh. Something ain't right. All right, I got low battery on my phone, and I don't know why. That's interesting. Well, it says it's charging. Sorry about that. Cool. All right. Echo. Window fan off. Echo. Air filter off. Quiet. I don't know how noisy all that was, but anyway. Okay. Now, I started with a shorter. I have a shorter side and a larger side. This one will wrap it. This one will go against it so that you kind of end up with the same thickness on both sides. But yeah, this will protrude about 4 inches down, Kevin. So, but you start with the short sides or long sides. Oh, I don't remember how to do this. No, you have to start with the short side. Yep. You start with the short side first and get it assembled. Measure twice, cut once. And I don't always spread the glue on these because they're very porous. But so yeah, here we go. Now I am placing, I mean, these boards have cupped, and that's just the way they're gonna be. But I've made it so the cup is to the inside, and that's the side that's absorbed the least amount of moisture. There we go. I might have to get some more coffee here soon, guys. Hold that one aside. Yeah, the rest of these look decent. Yeah, this one's, it could work. This one's got a knot, but it's, I cut through it, but it's pretty tight. So we're going to try it. Get it lined like so. And these, I say they don't have to be perfect. This is not fine woodworking. But honestly, some of the ones I've seen on Facebook Marketplace, wow, they must whip these things together as fast as they can. There we go. Ta-da! But now what we do is now add a bit of glue. Again, I'm probably going to let these gray out outside. So I could coat them with tung oil. And that would sort of keep the color, kind of. But, and oh yeah, I've looked into some 3/4-inch boards instead of fence pickets, but the price is just kind of nuts. There is one nice thing about having a small shop. Nothing's too far out of reach. I mean, I remember when I went over to the foundation from working at the Fine Arts Center in Tryon and realizing that if I left my wrench on the other side of the stage, it wasn't like a 20-foot walk, a couple of steps. It was a 75-foot, 80-foot walk at least. Everything was much bigger. So I can see the reasons for a small shop. I can see the niceties, I should say. There you go. One side. See, it's got legs. Yeah, stadium. Yeah, I remember visiting you in Charlotte. Oh, that was insane. And now we rinse and repeat. Mom, it just hit me that you commented on this. This must mean you have an account? Anyway, I don't know if you're still watching. There's now we're only down to 3. So, and I may cut this a little early, only because I'm surprised how tiring this is. I know. Oh no, not the long one, short one. Whew, almost made a mistake there. But yeah, I know. I'm getting old. But oh, Kevin, did I tell you I quit smoking? I've been 6.5, 7 weeks, no cigarettes. And I just bought a treadmill. Equipment for my shop. I can't buy more equipment for my shop, Mom. I don't have room for it. But Kevin, that's the other thing too, is I drink coffee now. When I had my gallbladder out in 2021, for the most part, I stopped. I mean, I still have Pepsi in that. I actually don't have any Pepsi in the house now, but I only have like 1 or 2 cans or bottles of Pepsi a week. I pretty much have cut Pepsi out. Now, granted, I do drink ginger ale. Uh, I actually like a little Kraken spiced rum in my ginger ale, and I have one at night, but it's maybe a third of a shot of Kraken rum to the whole can of ginger ale. Who are you? Right? I bought a treadmill. I don't drink Pepsi anymore. I don't smoke. Yeah, it's, time marches on, dude. It's a good thing. I'm I'm glad I stopped. I really am. I'm still I've unfortunately I've hit that point where I have a lot of ugh in my throat in the morning, which is kind of awkward. And I still cough, but it's only been 7 weeks, you know. Um, oh yeah, the other thing, Kevin, is I'm now on blood pressure medicine. Can't imagine why. I don't know what I've had to be stressed about over the last 35 years. Oh no, this way. It's got a little bit of a tweak to it, but we'll make it work. There we go. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, who am I? It's funny. There we go. I think this might become a regular occurrence. I want to take something that I've seen online. Another gentleman, he doesn't do woodworking. He does more. He actually has his site is actually called the Number One Chill Spot, and he does lives for like 2 hours or so. And it basically is like he puts a timer up for like 55 minutes or something like that. And he just plays like relaxing, chill music, kind of chill vibe or whatever I'm listening to now. And you just sit there and work with him. And then you take a 10-minute break and he'll talk and talk to the chat and all that stuff. And then he'll do another 45 minutes. And then he kind of ends it with talking. And I'm almost like, that would be kind of cool. I kind of like that idea. I don't know whether it'd work, because, woodworking is very project driven. Number 2. Now the hard part, put them together. Kind of maybe do where am I? 129 minutes. Excuse me, I can't see that well. Oh yeah. Other thing, Kevin, is I have cataracts. They're starting to develop, so time marches on, right, man? Anyway, yeah. So I'm kind of thinking of us like every Tuesday or maybe every Thursday, um, just doing a live in the afternoon kind of thing. A little hard today. I got to end it a little early. I'm scheduled to go till 3. I'll probably go to 2:30, but it's kind of this. Come hang and let's build stuff in the workshop and talk and that kind of thing. And it might develop. I mean, you just don't know, but we'll try it. I mean, you got to think outside the box, Now, for the fun part, I need to replace the plywood that's on my table saw because it's not level. So sometimes it can be a little awkward. We run a bead of glue. Now this I'm actually going to spread. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so you're going to be on the bottom. You're going to be on the top. Oof. Anyway, getting back to there's a guy up here in Saluda that he has 3/4 cedar. And I think I'd get better consistency making these. I don't think it's rough sawn. I think it's planed. But this stuff is. I don't even think this stuff is 5/8. Oh, hang on. Ah. Yes, we have calipers. Zip. Yeah, this stuff is a little over a 1/2 inch. So, unfortunately, when you deal with that, especially the way they're stored at Home Depot, they're gonna, I don't know if you can see, it's got a little bit of a warp in it. Along the grain, it's got a little bit of a twist. I don't think I'd run into that with thicker boards. They wouldn't cup as quick. They still might cup, But also too, I've noticed from board to board, the thickness is variable. This was 0.54, so a little more than a half an inch. I've seen some that are 0.506, so just a hair over half an inch, and that variability kind of stinks. But then you gotta kind of place it. There we go. There we go. Everything's nice and tight, more or less. This is the trick. These first ones is getting everything squared up. Yay! There we go. Now, run a bead of glue on the other side. But yeah, I'm not. There we go. I'm. Whoop, there it is. I'm kind of, kind of figuring out my way on this YouTube thing. I don't know. Don't know how long I can sustain it. But I am getting traction, and let's face it. Unfortunately, the internet has changed our viewpoints on creativity. Because when you think about it, my last video where I made one of these had over 500 views. Now, not all of them looked at the whole video. A lot of them, I think most of them only looked at like half of it, if that. But I thought I had like 7 or 8 likes. And it's funny how we look at that online and we're like, oh, there was only 7 or 8 likes. Yet if you created something, in the real world and went out and 7 people liked it, quote unquote, they went, wow, that's really cool, you'd be over the moon. So there's this dangerous trap with YouTube. That it's all about the likes. It's all about the clicks. Everybody round in circles. There we go. Whee. Anyway. Now, this one here, I have to glue on both sides simultaneously. Yep. Now, I don't really know why I dipped this in water. It's a silicone brush. The glue won't stick to it. But, stranger things happen. Anyway, I see there's other people looking, watching. There's 5 people out there now. If you haven't commented in the chat, throw a comment up there. Let me know you're there. I'd love to know where I'm reaching. Does this make sense? Is this a stupid idea? It might be a stupid idea. I don't know. But, it's also it's also something that you got to think about. I don't know too many other people that are streaming in the middle of the day. I've seen other people stream at night, which is cool. And I'm sure that, I'm sure people are like, hey, stream at night. We can watch it. We're at work during the day, so on and so forth. But, so that's interesting. It's got a twist to it. How are we going to fix? Oh, I know how we're going to fix it. I didn't need that clamp anyway. You really shouldn't have to clamp these things together, but we have to. And I could have brought out the big parallel clamps, but I don't think we need that. There we go. Whoops. Let you out, let you down. Didn't need that anyway. Yeah, it's interesting. Once this is this is one of the sides I put together first, and unfortunately it's developed this twist, which is weird, so I had to fix it somehow. Excuse me while I pick up my mess. And I love these cheap squeeze bottles, but I'm forever losing the little damn red caps. So I've gotten into the habit of putting it on the glue caddy. And then I drop the glue caddy. I didn't say which. I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. Not everybody's seen the kind of stuff you can do. There we go. And now we go. Really? That works. Planner, almost. I got to do the miter on the top. Huh. That's interesting. Oh, I see what happened. Okay. Oh, I see. Okay. That works. Yeah, that'll work. It's again, we talk about the consistency of the boards. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to try to bring you over here. There. You can kind of see that board has a warp, a slight warp, and it's pulled apart a little. But then each one of these has a cup, and that's made it a little harder, and it's pulled this out just a little. But it is square. At least I think it's square. When in doubt. Yep. Yeah, it's square. That's cool. I did a thing. Anyway. But there you go. All right. Now. It's over here. Here. Not bad. A little fuzzy. You know, the rough cut. That would be kind of nice with the 3/4 boards. Is they're all milled. They'd be smooth. I just got to find his price. Um, you see, I'm doing this with basically 5 foot long. It's funny. When I did my calculations on price, I thought they were 6 foot. They're actually 5 foot long. No. Oh no, they're six. They're 6 foot. Okay, cool. We're good. Um, yeah, they're wood is sold by board foot. That's how you can compare how much lumber you're getting. It's a cubic measurement of wood, and this stuff ends up being about $2.34 a board foot, which is a board foot is 1 inch thick, 12 inches wide, 12 inches long. So if you have 1 by 12 wide by 2 feet, you have 2 board feet. Okay. But you can calculate it down and figure out what this is per board foot versus his stuff. This stuff is like $2.30, something like that, $2.28, somewhere in that range per board foot. From what I can tell, the pricing on his stuff is like $4.17, $4.18 a board foot. So it's a significant change. I'm just trying to figure out, is that price increase worth the consistency and the look I'd get? But still trying to figure out I'm not a witch, I'm your wife. I don't quite understand that comment, but anyway. All right, now I've got to put a ledger here, and then I'll run two pieces across, and that'll hold the bucket when I set it in. You asked who else was here. I was just being silly. No problem. Anyway. All right, that's my bottom trim pieces. What do we got over here? We can do it with this stuff. Cool. We can do it with scrap pieces. Oops. I don't think I'm going to need that anymore. Cool. We'll just use the regular headphones instead of the others. Hey, Echo, turn the window fan on. It's actually getting a little hot in here. Hey, Kevin, what are you doing today? Oh yeah, festival season's coming, isn't it? Oh boy. Yeah, it's that time. I don't know. There are times I'm there. Occasionally, I'm like, yeah, it'd be fun to work some shows, and then there are times where I'm like, yeah, I'm really glad I'm out of the entertainment industry. I guess we all have, it's kind of. I don't want to say addicting. That sounds terrible, but it can be addicting. Eh, oh well. The board's got a warp, and I glued the wrong side, so we'll have to. There we go. That works. Hmm. Oof. Oof. Not the stadium rig. Oh, that could be fun. That could be a headache. Ah, back here. You know what? I think I'd rather use those. Hello. The downside of low ceilings and a ceiling fan. Cool. Nice. All right. It's amazing how I can still misplace things in a shop this big, or should I say this small. All right. I need 14 and 3/8. I need two pieces, 14 and 3/8. We will make that work. Ugh. Right there. Ooh. Eh, not bad. Yeah, it'll work. Doo-doo-doo. Yeah, that'll work fine. Eh, I've got to set this on the ground because that's the only way it's going to work. A little dab of glue. And a dab of glue. Mm. Sometimes I hate nailing that close to the end grain of a board because I worry about it splitting. All right. There we go. You guys hang on. I'll be right back. Yes, I get winded running upstairs. This is the pot. Huh. And that one's a little bit lower. Okay. Now, so you see the pot can line in there, which will be nice. Ah. There we go. Anyway, I do see these are real cheap on Amazon, but I see I've got to flesh out some of these drain holes. But that'll work. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call it here. Happy 312 day. It's been fun. I've still got a decent amount of work to do. I've got to put the top on it that gets mitered on the corners. I've got a small ledger that runs around, and then I want to do the Farmhouse X. I think all of you have seen at least part of the video where I made one of these, and that's kind of the direction I'm going. So there was much rejoicing. I'm okay with that. Anyway, it has been fun, but I think I need to go upstairs and get a little snack. My coffee's cold. And honestly, Alex likes iced coffee. I don't. I've tried it. I don't like it. So anyway, that's kind of where we're at. It's about 20 of maybe doing this for 3 hours was a little ambitious, but it was happy 312 day from 12 to 3. We're close. So anyway, stay tuned. We got more stuff coming. I'm gonna, I'll probably come down later tonight or tomorrow and finish this. Well, yeah, tomorrow's Thursday. Going out to lunch with Mom. I've got an appointment with Chris at 10, so I might get to it later this afternoon. I'll throw a couple pictures up, or I'll send you a couple pictures anyway. But that's where we're at. Kevin, you're only in town this week, correct? Just waiting on the chat. Oh, so you're here next week too. Cool. Because then we can catch up about other things that have been going on. Cool. All right. I will text you and we will do lunch next week. Mom, I will see you tomorrow. I'll text you before I'm on my way down. And my wife, I'll see in a little while. And maybe Lauren, I'll see in a little while. And I don't know who else is watching. But anyway, thank you for hanging out, watching the stream, chatting. This has been great. Like I said, I kind of might like to do this kind of, chill and work with me and watching the shop and kind of that kind of thing. I gotta kind of figure that out, see if it makes sense. Probably can't stream from just the phone. I'm probably gonna have to have a setup of some sort. I don't really want to buy an A10 mini right now, but maybe down the road we can do that. But anyway, well, thanks for watching. Y'all have fun, be safe, and hope to see you again soon at the next video. Bye now.